First of all, I will give you guys some questions as welcoming gifts. You don't need to answer those questions right now, but hopefully you will get the answer at the end. And hope you will, with those questions, better to follow my step. And I brought you guys today some of my little friends. They are all water type Pokemons. And of course, they are living in underwater worlds with beautiful reefs. And as we know, because of the environment issues, the reefs, the ocean can also go sea. So let's invite our victims of the environmental issues as our main character for today, coral reefs. And why we talk about the coral reefs and why we are focused on it. They are, of course, all lives who exist on Earth are treasures, but why only coral reefs for today? They are useful. Thank you for the answer, my little friend. First, they can add the coastal defense. They buffer against waves and storms, protect humans from floods. And they are also one of the most biodiverse ecosystem, even they just 1% of ocean surface, but they support more than 25% of marine organisms. And for the human being, they are also a huge fisheries resources, offer the food, the live food, especially in the developing country. So the coral reefs is not just good or useful for the nature, it's also for the human being. And we also talk about the environmental issues, but what exactly they are. So talk about the global warming. Our world 1.2 degrees warmer than before. And the seawater has also decreased in like 100 years, 0.1 seawater pH. We talk about 1.2, 0.1, it looks like not a big deal. But because of those reasons, the global coral coverage has declined since like the 95th, also like 100, 200 years, more than 50% coral loss. Look at those pictures. Ocean. He's not smoking. He's absorbing the CO2, the air pollution, the carbon, and other greenhouse gases. Which means if without the general health of ocean, the environment issues may be more horrible. Like look here, I think it's more than 150 billion carbon from only the human activity has been absorbed by ocean over the past 200 years. And now I want to invite my special little friend, Paul Sola, for today. Say hi. And, oh, are you okay? No, we need to figure out what happens now. So it's coral bleaching. It's a simple word, but means a lot. Physically, it means coral become white. They lost the color. Those two Pokemons, both they are Solar, but the pinky one is the water and rock type, and the white one is the ghost type, which means after bleaching, they might die. And what's gonna happen after all coral died? Welcome to the algae world. The recording data is in Australia, and the highlight mentions March to November 2016. We will give some highlight later. And the disappearance of the hard coral cover is followed by increased algae cover, which means algae is more likely more living in warmer and acidic water. The ocean view will look like this in the future, which is underwater is fully covered by algae, and the sunlight cannot during the surface, which means underwater there's no sunlight, there's no oxygen, of course there's no fishes. There's only kind of white, dead coral body. But in general, the bleaching events or the bleaching process is slow. But there is a disaster named marine heat wave. They might kill corals in a few months. I've shown here, we mentioned before, is middle April to early May 2016. It happens the breaking heat waves in Australia, GBR, the Great Barrier Reef, and there's a typical example. It's 19th April 2016. We can see the northern part of the GBR as a like red as B, and what are the consequences later? After 8 months, we lost almost more than 50% of the coral reefs at the northern part of GBR, and somewhere it's more than 75%. But why does the heat wave so toxic? In general, the coral doesn't live alone. It has kind of roommate, or in other words, there are some sirens living in coral. And if the temperature too high or the water temperature too high, they are not like us. We have air condition or something else. Those little guys cannot afford that. What are they gonna do? Move out. So the sirens offer food, energy, of course, the color to coral reefs. If they all moved out, crying, right? They will lose all color. They will become white, which means bleaching, and they will also no energy, no food, and starving. If one day the water temperature becomes normal again, those little guys may be back, but if not, will become the ghost type. And is this situation will be fixed or it will be more worse? So just like we mentioned before, if water temperature becomes normal again, yes. But if the marine heat wave was too heavy, was too strong, it's hard fully back to the pre-bleaching. And if the climate change cannot be stable, the coral reefs will continue to go down. That one day we don't have any coral, or we just have one type. The coral can only live in a warm water. And if the global warming cannot be limited to 1.5 to 2 degrees, the ecosystem will also be destroyed, which means the people in the future will not have the view like this. That's kind of sad. So at the end, I want to use this saying to finish my slam. There's a famous or the popular American astronaut, Carl Sagan. He said, preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we have ever known. Thank you for the listening.